Imagine you come home from work one day and your apartment is soaked. Water's dripping from the ceiling, the furniture's ruined, your laptop is destroyed, and your clothes are sitting in 2 inches of water. Come to find out, the upstairs neighbor had a water heater burst and everything you own just took a hit. You call your landlord and your landlord says, "Yeah, my insurance covers the building, it doesn't cover your stuff." Water damage like this is one of the most common claims in insurance. And if you are a renter without your own policy, you are completely on your own. Today, we're going to break down what renter's insurance actually covers, what it costs, and why most renters are taking a risk they do not even realize they are taking. My name is Jim Eddington. I run Western Pacific Insurance out of Henderson, Nevada. We write property and casualty coverage in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and California, and we do life insurance in nearly every state and U.S. territory. We work with renters all the time, and the conversation almost always starts the same way, someone asking why they even need renter's insurance in the first place. The short answer is that you probably own more than you think. You have more liability exposure than you realize, and the one thing standing between you and a very bad week costs less than your streaming subscriptions. So let's get into it. Renter's insurance does 3 things. It protects your personal property, it gives you liability coverage, and it pays for additional living expenses if your place becomes unlivable. Most people only think about the first one, their stuff, and even then they underestimate how much they actually own. Think about it this way. Walk through your apartment right now in your head. Your bed, your couch, your TV, your small kitchen appliances, your clothes, your shoes, your phone, your computer. Now add what it would cost to replace all of it tomorrow. Most renters are looking at tens of thousands of dollars worth of personal belongings when they actually add it all up. And most have no idea until they have to start replacing things out of pocket. A renter's policy covers those belongings against things like fire, theft, vandalism, and sudden and accidental water damage, like our water heater scenario. And that word sudden matters because not every type of water loss is covered. Flood damage is typically excluded under a standard renter's policy, and some backup or overflow situations may need an endorsement. Earthquake is generally excluded too. Talk to your agent so you know where the gaps are. And here's something worth pointing out. It does not matter that the water heater was your neighbor's fault. If the cause of loss is covered under your policy, your renter's policy can pay for your belongings either way. Your insurance company may go after the neighbor to recover what they paid you, but that is between the carriers. Now, if that upstairs neighbor does not have a renter's policy, there is no liability coverage to go after. Your policy still takes care of you, but without it, you are chasing someone who is not prepared to take responsibility. That is why everyone in the building should carry a policy, not just you. Something else a lot of renters do not realize. Your renter's policy does not just cover your stuff inside the apartment. If your car gets broken into and someone steals your bag with your laptop and camera inside, your renter's coverage can often cover that too, subject to your policy terms and limits. If your belongings are stolen out of a storage unit, that can be covered as well. One thing to ask your agent about is whether your policy pays replacement cost or actual cash value. Replacement cost gives you what it takes to buy a new version of the item. Actual cash value factors in depreciation, meaning that 3-year-old laptop might only get you a fraction of what you paid. That distinction matters a lot when you're filing a claim. Here's where it gets interesting. Most renters think of this as stuff insurance, but the liability coverage might be the most important part. Let's say a friend comes over for dinner. They trip on a rug and break their wrist, or your dog bites a visitor, or you accidentally leave a candle burning and the fire damages 3 other units in the building. That last one is more common than people think. If a fire starts in your unit and spreads, the building owner and the other tenants can come after you for the damage. The landlord's insurance company can come after you too, and that's called subrogation. They pay out the claim on the building, and then they turn around and try to recover that money from whoever caused the fire. Medical bills, legal fees, property damage to other units. Without liability coverage, all of that comes out of your pocket. And it does not have to be something dramatic. Even a minor injury can lead to a medical claim that runs into the thousands. If it turns into a lawsuit, you're looking at attorney fees on top of whatever the judgment ends up being. Most people do not have that kind of cash sitting around. Your renter's policy also covers something called medical payments to others. This is separate from liability coverage. If someone gets hurt in your apartment, Medical payments can cover their immediate medical expenses up to a set limit without anyone having to file a lawsuit. It keeps small incidents from becoming big problems. A standard renter's policy typically includes $100,000 in liability coverage, and you can increase it from there. When you consider what a single lawsuit or medical claim could cost, that coverage is doing a lot of heavy lifting for a very low premium. This is also a good time to mention that if you have enough assets to protect, an umbrella policy can sit on top of your renter's policy and extend that liability limit even further. Let's go back to the water heater scenario. Your apartment is soaked. The landlord is going to need weeks to dry it out, rip up the flooring, and make repairs. You can't live there. Where do you go? A hotel? A short-term rental? How do you pay for meals when you can't use your own kitchen? Loss of use coverage, sometimes called additional living expenses, handles this. Your renter's policy pays for reasonable costs to maintain your standard of living while your apartment is being repaired. That means hotel stays, meals above your normal food costs, and other necessary expenses. If you have pets, that can factor in too. Not every hotel takes animals, and boarding costs add up. For a lot of renters, this is the coverage that saves them from a financial crisis they never saw coming. And think about the timing. Water damage repairs are not a weekend project. Drying, remediation, rebuilding, depending on the extent of damage, you could be displaced for weeks or longer. Your landlord's insurance covers the building, the walls, the floor, the structure. It does not cover your displacement. Without loss of use coverage, you're paying for temporary housing out of your own pocket while still potentially owing rent on a place you can't live in. In cities like Las Vegas and Phoenix, where extended stay hotels are not cheap, those costs add up fast. A few weeks in a hotel with meals can easily run several $1,000s. So here's the part that surprises people. Renter's insurance is one of the most affordable policies you can buy. The exact price depends on where you live, how much coverage you need, and your deductible. For most renters, the premium is small compared to the financial downside of not having it. A lot of landlords and property management companies now require renter's insurance as part of the lease, and that's actually a good thing. But even if yours doesn't require it, the risk doesn't change just because nobody is making you carry a policy. And if you already have auto insurance, many carriers will let you bundle renters with your auto policy for a multi-policy discount. In some cases, adding renter's coverage barely changes your total insurance cost. Some renters also don't realize that their policy can include endorsements for things like identity theft protection or coverage for high-value items like jewelry, watches, collectibles, or certain business equipment that may exceed standard limits. These vary by carrier, so talk with your independent insurance agent about what options are available to you. If you already have a renter's policy, review it. Make sure your coverage limits still match what you own. People move, buy new furniture, pick up electronics, and their coverage stays the same as when they first signed up. Check whether you have replacement cost or actual cash value, and ask your agent about any gaps a simple endorsement could fill. If you're renting right now and you do not have a renter's policy, get one. It is one of the easiest and most affordable ways to protect yourself. And if you're in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, or California, would be happy to help. You can get a quote at wpinsure.com. The link's below. We also do life insurance in nearly every state and US territory if that's something you've been putting off. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.